Hello friends and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Henry Svita, aka the one and one on this channel. We crochet, craft, knit, whatever, and do history and comedy, and I don't really know what's going on anymore because I've had to rebrand and I'm lost. Anyway, today we're going to carve a turnip. And with that being said, hello, welcome to Halloween, the series where I tell you that everything that you know and love about Halloween is in fact Irish. I'm from New York. I've been living in Dublin 9 years, and the shit I've learned about Halloween is amazing. And it's my favorite holiday. So that's, the most important thing. And so we're going to carve a turnip and talk about the history of jack-o'-lanterns. Let's get a knife. Okay. I've done this once before, and it's incredibly difficult to carve a turnip. Way harder than carving one of these bad boys. So we're just gonna go for it. And also, good news, dogs can eat turnips. The day is saved, buddy.
Odie. It does stinks. He likes it.
For those of you who know, I have a little Jack Russell whose channel this is. So people think it's my channel. It's not. It's Odie's. All right. So the history of the turnip jack-o'-lantern. Halloween. Oh, that is nice. That is a good knife. Halloween is originally a Celtic pagan season change festival called Samhain or Samhain, but never Samhain. Never Samhain. They get real mad about that.
Samhain.
And the original intention of this festival was to ensure, number one, a good harvest and to celebrate going into the dark half of the year. There was the light half and there was the dark half. And the dark half is what we're going into now, obviously. Things are getting darker. Things are getting scarier. The spirits and the souls of the dead can visit us today, or on Halloween rather. But the proverbial veil between the world of the living and the world of the dead is at its thinnest today. And that's not necessarily what Irish people call it, a veil, or what ancient Celts used to call it, a veil. But it was known that celebrating going into the dark half of the year and moving from the light to the dark is a period of transition. And in periods of transition, things are weaker and things are not as they usually are. So the strength in the, separation of the two worlds, this world of the dead and this world of the living, was very, very weak at this point. And for those of you joining in not from Ireland, you'll be thinking, wait, Hannah, wait. Winter? Isn't it autumn? Isn't it fall right now? Yes. But the Celtic pagan calendar, and actually the Irish calendar of today, is different than the calendar of the rest of the world, and especially different than the one in America. And that's for a couple different reasons. Number one, they don't use the solstice or the equinoxes as a marker of the start of the season. They use it as the marker of the middle of the season, which makes sense. So for example, we consider December 21st to be the first of the season because it's the darkest and the shortest day of the year. The Irish would consider this the midway point, meaning that for the rest of the season, for the rest of winter, it's going to start getting lighter and lighter. So they use it as the peak of the season and then go back down. So the seasons here in Ireland, they're about a month early from the rest of the world. Fun fact though, they don't know that. And a lot of Irish people just assume that everybody else is weird about seasons. They're like, that's crazy. People think February is winter and October, November is fall. That's silly bitty. They must have made a mistake. This is like carving a potato. This is quite difficult and I'm worried. I have this lovely toolkit. This is great for pumpkins. Pumpkins are like little balloons compared to this thing. Might as well be carving a rock. Anyway, back to the turnips. So during this season change festival of Samhain, light and fire and togetherness and warmth become very, very important because as we move into the dark half of the year, things like preserving energy, gathering food, warmth, light, these things become scarcer and scarcer, and the community, as a result, needs to make sure that they can gather and have this in time of need. Now, we also said that the dead are visiting. Dead relatives are always nice, but like any extended family visit, you don't always want it to last so long, right? So in order to make sure that these family visits didn't last longer than necessary, there was a couple of things that we would do to ensure that the spirits would come and they would go without taking us with them. Because like any good horror, dark, fall, Halloween-y type holiday, the spirits were fairly powerful and you didn't want to get caught up and get annoyed by a spirit or, God forbid, get taken to the underworld with them. So the first thing that we would do is dress up in costumes, which is where we get that tradition from. A lot of the costumes were either to scare spirits away or to mimic a spirit and pretend to be a spirit so that they didn't actually bother you thinking that you were human. They'd be like, oh, that's one of us. There you go. Now I mentioned fire because lanterns were very important and they're kind of a dual purpose. So this is all coming together, I promise. This is just off the top of my head. So lanterns would be made out of turnips. We would hollow them out like I'm doing now. Can you see that? I don't know how good this phone is. I'm filming with my phone. So we would make lanterns out of turnips and we'd hollow them out and we'd carve faces in them. Or sorry, the ancient Irish would. This is my second time doing it. I say we like I'm some sort of expert. So the Irish would carve out turnips and carve little faces in them and then put light or fire in them in order to, number one, scare away the spirits and also lead them into paths that we wanted them to be led into, away from our houses, away from our families. And so this was kind of a really important thing to be doing. And for the locals out there who are just making sure I pronounce everything right, you'll know you'll know that these turnip lanterns, when they're first made, they are scary. Yeah, like they're kind of scary looking. But as they start to rot and to break down, they are absolutely terrifying. Like these little things, they end up looking like weird shrunken skull heads. And they're like, I'll put some pictures up here because I don't know if I'm going to have enough time to see this rot. Alas, poor Yorick. I knew him, Horatio. See, I said it right. I'm saying stuff right. Relax, everybody relax. And so these little turnip lanterns, they would be put out during Samhain to scare away spirits and to lead them into paths that were better for us as humans. Now, how they got their name and how they became pumpkins is a bit more of a modern retelling. So, since the dawn of Samhain, we have been using these, turnip jack-o'-lanterns. And in the 1800s, we get a story as how they got their names. So I'm going to tell you that story now. In the 1800s, there was a lad named Jack. We're already off to a good start. You can see where this is going. Jack was, as one might say, not the most upstanding of citizens. He was drunken, he was debaucherous, he was abusive, he used the Lord's name in vain. We all know how that goes. But Jack was not the greatest of guys. So Jack was a debaucherous man, so much so that when it came time for him to die, the devil himself ended up paying Jack a visit. He said, Jack, he met him at a crossroads. He says, it's time for you to go, and I'm going to escort you personally to the gates of hell. And Jack went, oh, a VIP experience. So Jack, he did agree. He agreed to join the devil to go down to the underworld, but not before one last pint. And the devil was like, try my pints, man, myself, can't help it. He went down and he went with Jack to get a pint. He said, you know what, fine, one last pint for the road because I'm going to be torturing the heck out of you, buddy. I'm going to enjoy this. So he did. He brought Jack to the pub and they had a pint together. And when it came time to pay, lo and behold, who knew this was going to happen, except for every woman who's been on a date ever with a man, he said, oh my God, I totally forgot my wallet. Have you got this? And the devil's like, I don't have any money. I'm literally the devil from the Bible, so no. And Jack said, well, tell you what, big idea is why don't you turn yourself into a coin and then we can pay and then you just turn yourself back and we'll get out of here. And the devil was like, it's not stupid, man. Jack might be a bad man, but he's not a stupid man. So he turns himself into a coin, and Jack, lickety-split, popped that coin into his pocket next to his rosary beads. Dun, dun, dun. And the devil was then stuck as a coin until Jack decided to take him out. And Jack did not decide to take him out. Jack said, I tell you what, devil, give me another year here on Earth, and then you can come and get me. And the devil, not having too much of a choice, just kind of went, all right, Jack, tell you what, you drive a mean bargain. And Jack got away with it. So Jack got away with it. Another year went by, and the devil, he did his thing until he came back up and said, here now, Jack, no more funny business. It's time to get going. New home awaits. Jack said, you know what, devil, you're right. You're absolutely right. Tell you what, I'm just going to grab myself an apple from this here tree. Biblical. And the devil, being himself, said, all right, Jack, no. Nice try. Fool me once. Shame on ye. Fool me twice. Shame on me. I didn't want to point the knife at myself. And Jack said, all right, no worries. And the devil said, I'll get your apple. You wait here. Don't move. Jack's like, all right, no worries. Free apple. Sounds good. So the devil climbed up this apple tree and went to go get the apple. And Jack, quick as a whip, whoosh, carved an X. Can you tell I wasn't raised Christian? He carved a cross into the tree, and the devil was stuck in the tree. Now, Jack had a better plan. He said, hey, devil, tell you what, I'll let you go, but you're never allowed to bring me through the gates of hell. I'm not going to hell. And the devil, knowing what this meant, in the long run, said, tell you what, Jack, no problem. So devil got out of the tree. Jack took away the cross. He uncrossed it, and the devil got down out of the tree and went away. Now, nobody lives forever. And Jack did eventually pass away. And he went up to the pearly gates of heaven, ready to meet his maker. And the angels at the very front, whoever is the guard, I'm sure there's biblical lore about that. Again, was not raised Christian.
It's St. Peter. I figured it out.
He went, ooh, Jack, you are not on this list. Nuh-uh. And Jack was like, oh, uh-oh. So he went down to the gates of hell and said, am I on this list? And the devil went, we had a deal, Jack. And I'm a man of my word. No, you are not. So Jack, stuck without a place to go, found himself without a place in hell and without a place in heaven. And the devil, being understanding, gave Jack a lantern made out of the turnips that they used every Samhain to light his way. He got an ember from the pits of hell, put it in, and gave it to him to carry for the rest of eternity. Now, Jack, not being welcomed in hell or heaven, roams the world of the living with nothing but his lantern guiding his way. So he became known as Jack of the Lantern. Now, over time, that becomes Jack o' Lantern or Jack of the Lantern. As we know, O in the Irish prefix is of, and so he became Jack o' Lantern. Now, give me a minute. I'm going to finish this, and I'll tell you the rest of the story. This is going to take longer than I thought. Anyway, I'll tell you the rest of the story now. Now, jack-o'-lanterns becoming more and more popular in their namesake had Irish people calling them jack-o'-lanterns for generations. The Irish then moved to America in droves during the 18 and 1900s, and they brought their jack-o'-lanterns with them, their traditions of Halloween and their love for the holiday and Samhain. But there were no turnips in this new world, not as many as there were back home. But fellow oppressed group and nowadays ally, the Native American groups of America, decided to show the Irish another seasonal, delightful gourd that they could make their jack-o'-lanterns out of. It was hollow, it was easier to carve than a turnip, and it was delicious. It was known as the humble pumpkin. Now, people had been eating pumpkins for thousands of years in America. It was a very common food, especially in the fall or in the autumn, sorry. But because of the jack-o'-lantern and because of the now new decorative purpose of the jack-o'-lantern, pumpkins were not only a food in America, but also a staple decoration as the season started to change. Pumpkins started gracing doorsteps, started gracing houses, decorations, clothing. It became a symbol of the season. Even apples didn't compare to the decorative purposes and qualities that a pumpkin could. And orange became the color of fall and autumn all over the world. Companies started to capitalize on this popular pumpkin trend by creating flavored things like pumpkin pies, pumpkin cakes, pumpkin cookies, oh my god, and even the pumpkin spice latte. Now, you like my jack-o'-lantern? He's weird. And so it is my beautiful and backed up by fact belief that in another life, in another era, in a different universe, we have a turnip spice latte that's truly Irish. Now that is what my shirt is. It's the vest that I made for myself. It's a TSL or a turnip spice latte celebrating the true reason for the season, the turnip and Samhain. If you'd like, you can buy the pattern on my Etsy page, or if you want me to make it for you, it'll cost a lot of money, but you can DM me and I'll do what I can. It's all acrylic and it's all single crochet. It's very, very simple. It's just squares, and I've paired it with my just a button-down white shirt. And now I can't wait to make turnip mash. Oh, do you want some? Come here. Want some? Good boy. And I'm going to put this outside on my balcony to scare away any spirits that might be thinking of joining me this holiday season. Next time, maybe I'll carve a pumpkin. I haven't carved a pumpkin in a long time, actually. That's why I got this little kit, and I'm glad that this has been sitting here as a decoration. I got this from Little, but I literally didn't use it. Oopie doopies. Anyway, happy Halloween, happy Halloween, and blessed Samhain. This guy, what's your name? Comment down below what you think his name should be, and have a great rest of your day. Thanks so much for coming to my channel, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye. Bye. Bye-bye. 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 Almost forgot to say like and subscribe. Like and subscribe, please and thank you, because I asked really nicely and it would mean a lot. Okay, thanks. Bye, 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 bye. I'm feeling like there's gonna be incidents. Fingers crossed for me, guys. Just making sure we're filming. Yeah, want some turnip? Yeah, yummy. The story goes, oh my god, turnips in my M&Ms. Hold on, apple cinnamon tea for your double. Look at this mug. Pennies. Man, this is like carving a potato. Oh, and the English people call these Swedes. Whatever, a lot of different names, and everybody corrects me when I'm doing it. They're like, that's a Swede. It's a turnip. Here in Ireland, it's a turnip. Anyway, stop interrupting. Holy shit, I'm about to hurt myself. Odie, that's enough. 18th and 19th, 17th and 19th and 20th century.